I felt really excited as a surrogate whenever I found out that this is the journey that I was going on. Whenever you go through surrogacy, people have concerns that, you'll be attached to the baby. But for me, I was more attached to my relationship with the parents. I was excited for them. I was giving something to somebody, something that they really, really wanted. My name is Katelyn 𝗰𝘰𝗲𝗱. I am a mother of one. Her name is Peyton. She'll be 4 soon. And I completed a twin surrogacy journey last year. The first time I found out about surrogacy, I was actually probably about 17 years old, and I had met a woman who was pregnant. There was just something about her. She was just vibrant and she was open and happy, and I asked her, I was like, how's the pregnancy going? And she goes, it's going well, it's going well. And I said, are you ready for, the new child? And she goes, actually, I am, because it's not mine. And I'm like, what? Because I had no idea of any concept other than, a woman giving birth to her own children. And she kind of explained to me what surrogacy was, and it kind of just stuck in my head. And it wasn't until I found Sunshine through a Facebook ad that I reached out to her, and I just heard a little bit more about it, and she sent me some interviews of women who had also completed their surrogacy journey and what that really entailed. And it kind of just pulled at me in a way I can't describe. Overall, the system that I have around me for support is really positive. Whenever I told them that I was interested in being a surrogate, I actually did not receive any negative feedback. Everybody's like, wow, that's a big deal. What made you decide? But outside of just general questions, I don't really think I received much negative feedback. I knew I had made the right decision actually when I was laying there on the table for the C-section. So it was that time that I was laying on the table and Antonio was in the room with me, and he was just behind me and he was holding my hand, and I kind of saw him go through the emotions. And it goes from like anxiety for him and like, oh, is everything gonna be okay? And then it turns into excitement, like, the baby's coming, we're about to see what the baby's gonna look like. And then just tears of joy. Seeing the look in his eyes when he fell in love with the babies. Like, they love the babies throughout the entire journey, but it's totally different when you give birth. The look on his face was enough for me. It wasn't just baby 1, but baby 2. And then it's like chaotic because, there's everyone's around you, and it was just, yeah. I would recommend surrogacy to other women. In fact, I actually do. I am kind of like an advocate for surrogacy in a small way. I don't actually promote it on social media or anything like that, but just about any time I have a conversation with somebody who doesn't know that I was a surrogate, it gets brought up. It gets brought up, and people, they have their typical questions. Oh, how was it? Was it hard giving up the babies? And I really do encourage women to look into it if, pregnancy is something that, doesn't bother them and they're looking to, give life to other people. So I absolutely do recommend it. During the surrogacy journey, I was employed full-time, I was working. However, the compensation that I was receiving on top from the surrogacy went above and beyond to cover my family in ways that I just wasn't even honestly prepared for. The amount of money that you do receive, it might sound crazy to say, but it is life-changing, and people will use the money in, different ways, but for my family, we chose to rely on my salary for things like, rent and groceries, but we chose to use the surrogacy money to cater to our desire to travel. We traveled and we got to experience life really with it. That's just an opportunity that I really wouldn't have had without it. Having surrogacy.is in my corner changed my experience entirely. It made sure that I had the correct support for my journey. If I had not found surrogacy.is, I don't know if I would have actually gone through with the surrogacy process. I had some initial concerns with one of the agencies that I was working with that made me actually question surrogacy in general. I think it's so important to make sure that you are with the right agency, which is exactly what surrogacy.is does. I would say that I am proud of myself for completing the surrogacy journey. It's kind of hard to look at it as a whole when it's such a process, and there's different steps. It's the meeting the parents, the pre-screening, the IVF, like the doctor's appointments, and it's not really a quick process at all. For me, it spanned close to 2 years just from the beginning to the end. So looking at it from a whole, like, am I proud of my surrogacy journey? Absolutely. It was unique.